prosecution in the ongoing ambulance procurement trial has for the first time admitted that the Attorney General Godfred Yeboah-Dame met with the third accused person, Richard Jakpa, at the residence of the Supreme Court Judge, Justice Diony Kolendi. Now, this meeting, according to the state, was, however, not arranged, and that Richard Jakpa coincidentally appeared at the judge's residence when the Attorney General was sitting. Now, Thursday's affirmation was the first time the prosecution has confirmed that Richard Jakpa has on a number of occasions said during cross-examination that in the ongoing trial he had met with Godfred Yeboah-Dame, and this was the first time that prosecution had admitted that. There's more in this report by Lateef Idrisu, who was in court. Oh, well, I'm told I have Lateef joining me now. We'll bring you that report later on. Lateef, quite an interesting day in court. Let's start from this official admission from the prosecution that indeed Richard Jakpa met with the AG at the Chief Justice's home. It's the first time they're actually admitting this, isn't it?
Yeah, but see, it's the first time. And if you were not paying attention in court, you would lose sight of this affirmation by the state prosecution, because that affirmation was couched in a question that was put to Richard Jakpa in the witness box when the state prosecution suggested to Richard Jakpa that he only appeared at the residence of the Supreme Court Judge, Justice Diony Kolendi, when the Attorney General Godfred Yeboah-Dame was visiting the Supreme Court Judge, and that it wasn't an arranged meeting between Richard Jakpa and the Attorney General. Richard Jakpa had suggested to the court under cross-examination by lawyers for Dr. Keiselato Forson. So that was the question that was put to Richard Jakpa, and clearly the prosecution, based on the space of this question, had admitted in open court that in fact there was a meeting between Richard Jakpa and Godfred Yeboah-Dame at the residence of Justice Diony Kolendi. But the challenge here by the prosecution is that it wasn't an arranged meeting as Richard Jakpa had suggested to the court. So that was the contention here, whether it was arranged or not arranged. Now, Richard Jakpa, in his response, told open court that, in fact, it was the Attorney General, Godfred Yeboah-Dame, who arranged that particular meeting. He referenced that by reading a portion of the evidence tendered in by the Attorney General, that is the WhatsApp chat between Richard Jakpa and the Attorney General, which the Attorney General succeeded in turning into evidence yesterday at the court. He read a portion of that which said that, and Richard Jakpa, this was Richard Jakpa sending the message to the Attorney General that I thank you for securing or helping me to secure my bail. I appreciate that. I humbly request for a private meeting with you. I'm just paraphrasing. And then the Attorney General comes in with a response and say that I will arrange through your brother, Thanks. And the brother here, we are referring to Justice Diony Kolendi. So Richard Jakpa read this portion of the WhatsApp chat as tendered into evidence by the Attorney General to make his case that this was the Attorney General telling him that he was going to arrange that particular meeting between himself and Richard Jakpa. And he was going to do that through the Supreme Court Judge and not directly with Richard Jakpa. So according to Richard Jakpa, the arrangement, the venue, the time of the meeting was left between the Attorney General and the Supreme Court Judge. So it is not factual for the state prosecution to suggest to him that there was never a meeting, or the Attorney General, Godfred Yeboah-Dame, did not arrange the meeting between Richard Jakpa and the Attorney General, Godfred Yeboah-Dame.
Now, let me come in at this point, because also in court, Richard Jakpa said he felt betrayed by the AG. Why is that?
Yeah, he said he felt betrayed by the Attorney General because the Attorney General had promised him that he was going to let him work as a free man when they get to the case of no submission stage of the ongoing trial. And based on that, according to Richard Jaffa, he furnished the Attorney General with documents to help him with the ongoing case. Documents he had given to Yoko during Yoko's own investigations into the matter. So he helped the Attorney General, hoping that the Attorney General will also, prove his part of the bargain when it comes to the no case submission stage by letting Richard Jaffa walk. But that didn't happen. So he was angry at the Attorney General. And so when they met at his cousin's residence, he got angry and he used unprintable words on the Attorney General. He called him a wicked person, someone who cannot, who was.
Latif, you have to position rightly. I'm losing you. Please make the point.
At the Attorney General.
Okay. Now, what's the next phase of the case right now?
So the next, Richard Jaffa will continue to be in the witness box. The state prosecution hasn't finished their cross-examination of him. And so it is unclear whether the court will sit on Tuesday or on Thursday because the Attorney General's department seeks permission from the court to be away on Tuesday. We do not know if that's going to happen or they will show up. If they are going to be available on Tuesday, then Richard Jaffa will get back into the witness box to be cross-examined by the Director of Public Prosecution. Otherwise, on Thursday, it will continue where we will find Richard Jaffa going back in the witness box for the Director of Public Prosecution to cross-examine him, hoping that by which time the state will have finished with their cross-examination, and then the next person to be cross-examined will be the people from Big C. You remember Big C is the company that went into contract with the government of Ghana to procure the ambulances. And so they would be the next to be cross-examined in the ongoing trial.
Thank you, Latif Idrisu, member of our Legal Affairs Desk here at Joy News. Now.